Here we have verse 8 of the second chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. We're wrapping up the conversation between Herod and the Magi. Herod, of course, has determined that the birthplace of the Messiah will be Bethlehem, and armed with that information, he comes back now and is giving instructions to these wise men. And of course, the duplicity of Herod is pretty obvious here. And so Kai, the connective, and pimpsos, this is from pimpo, I send. This is a participle. It's the aorist active participle, masculine, singular, nominative. It's referring to Herod, of course, as the subject of the sentence. So it's an aorist participle referring to time preceding the time of the leading verb. So having sent would be the idea. Autus, the direct object of the verb. The participle in this case, this is the accusative plural masculine, having sent them. Ace preposition takes the accusative. Bethlehem, so having sent them into Bethlehem. Bethlehem in the accusative here, going with the preposition. Apen, from lego I say, third person singular, aorist, active indicative, he said. So having sent them to Bethlehem, he said. And then poruthentes, this is actually a participle. It's the aorist, passive in form, active in meaning. Deponent, of course, so it's a participle, the masculine plural nominative. So having sent them to Bethlehem, he says to them, going. So that would be the idea, going. And it's usually rendered as a command, although it's technically a participle. So going, or as you are going, we might say, exotaseta. This is from exotazo. Etazo means to search for something. Exotazo means to add a little bit of additional intensity to it, to search out. And then we have even more intensity here with akribos, which is an adverb, indeclinable adverb. So search out diligently. That's the idea. He's giving them quite specific commands to be very diligent in searching. Peri, preposition, takes the genitive, so here's the genitive article, singular, masculine, search out diligent, concerning to paidiu, concerning the child or the young child, is the idea from paidios, a young child, and or paidion, I should say, it's actually neuter. So search out diligently concerning this young child. And then apon is a coordinating conjunction when, de, the postpositive here, and when, hureta. This is the subjunctive, so when you find. The subjunctive is suggested to us by the apon here, when you find. Implied is him. So when you find him, but the word him is only implied. When you find, then apagelata. This is angelio, which means to report. Apangelato, report from or report back to. Takes the dative, so report back to me or bring me word. Give me this information. And then he says, hupos. So that is the idea, something like hinna. It also takes the subjunctive, so that, kago, combination of I also, so that I also, aothon, coming, from erkamai, it's a participle, aorist active participle, so that I coming, impliedly with you, proskuneso, this is a subjunctive, the hupos will, or hopos will take the subjunctive. Proskuneso means to bow down literally, typically rendered to worship. Takes the dative, so that I may worship him. So of course the duplicity here of Herod is pretty obvious, probably even to the wise men as they hear this feigned desire on Herod's part to come and worship. They probably already were rolling their eyes a bit, at least in a way that was in their own imagination regarding this suggestion that's being given by Herod. Part of the reason the meeting here is taking place in secret as was told to us earlier by Matthew, is because any Jewish person standing there would have immediately realized that Herod was anything but sincere, as he gives this instruction now to the Magi and sends them on their way.